Hello, today I'm gonna read A Wish in the Dark by Christina Suntromba. Chapter 3. Knock crossed her fingers behind her back as she watched her father clean his glasses for the 100th time that morning. He was nervous, she could tell. More than Sivapan was supposed to be in charge of everything and everyone at Namwan, and Nok wished that just for today he could play the part. Nok, whined her little sister Tip, I am going to die in this thing. Tip stuck her finger into the high, frilly collar of her blouse and pulled it away from her windpipe. It snapped back against her throat with a thwack. Tip's twin sister, Ploy, giggled. Stop fidgeting, said Knock. She straightened Tip's collar, then Ploy's sash. Aren't you ashamed of yourselves, whining on a day like today? At least the twins got to wear short sleeves. Nog tugged at the cuffs of her itchy dress, fighting the urge to scratch her arms. She longed for the loose comfort of her spire fighting uniform. In her opinion, any clothes you couldn't throw a punch in were stupid. But of course she wouldn't complain, especially not today, the day of the governor's visit. Knock's mother glided toward them, an older version of the twins in pale blue silk. All right, she said. Are you ready? Remember what I told you to say. No embarrassments today. Got that, everyone? Knock's older brother smoothed down his hair. That's fine for us, he whispered. But who's going to tell Dad? Knock glared at him. Her mother snapped her fingers, and it was time to go. The twins followed Knock, who followed their brother, who had come home from university just for this occasion, who followed their mother, who was really the leader of the family, but who walked behind her husband to keep up appearances. The family lined up near the river gate in the shade of the big mango tree. The prisoners were supposed to be standing in orderly lines too, but the children had run up to the gate to wait for the governor's boat. I feel sorry for them, whispered Ploy, slipping her fingers into Knock's hand. They have to live in a jail. Isn't that awful? It's not a jail, said Knock. It's a reform center. Knock and her siblings hardly ever visited their father's workplace. That morning, Knock had made a point to show her sisters the official Namwan Women's Reform Center sign on the front gate, but the truth was that no one ever called it anything but a prison. Why can't Daddy just let them go? Asked Ploy. Her twin leaned closer. You know that Mama says trees drop their fruit straight down. Huh? I'm not talking about fruit, dummy. I'm talking about kids. Knock sighed. She means that you can't expect children to turn out very different from their parents. And these children have criminals for parents. It's best to keep a close eye on them. Besides, where else would they go? Some of them are orphans. They have to live on the street. At least here they get good food and they go to school. They're happy here. The children did look happy, or at least excited. Knock noticed that only two of the boys weren't pressed up against the gate. One scrawny boy with a moon-round face stood on his tiptoes, unable to see over two girls who seemed to be blocking his view on purpose. His friend, a boy with thick hair, had stuck up at the top, also hung back near the trunk of the mango tree. He wasn't looking at the gate at all, but up into the branches. The boy tilted one ear up at a low-hanging fruit, almost as if he were listening to it. How weird, thought Knock. Who listened to mangoes? Here he comes, the other kids shouted. The governor's boat! I can see it! Knock's mother snapped her fingers and hissed. Places! To your places! Now! The governor's barge glided toward the prisoner dock, and its teak paneling gleaming in the sunlight. Swags of white flowers swished from the prow. A soft wind churned the water behind the boat as it swiveled into place at the dock. A glass orb the size of a watermelon hung suspended over the silver prongs of the barge's motor. Its jade light glowed so bright that it made spots float over Knock's eyes when she blinked. The river gate swung inward. Uniformed guards disembarked and stood at attention. Knock glimpsed the sheen of the governor's robes, and then her mother snapped her fingers again. The prisoners pressed their palms together and dropped to their knees. Knock bowed her head, her stomach slipping some result. Was this really happening? If the kids from school could see her now, they would burn with jealousy. She was about to meet the man they all idolized, the hero they learned about in history classes, whole proverbs they had memorized since nursery school. In just a few seconds, Knock would meet the man who had saved their city from the brink of destruction. It was a story that even child in Chattanooga knew. Long, long ago, Chattanooga was the city of wonders. Giants as tall as palm trees waded in the river while singing fish schooled around their ankles. In the floating markets, vendors sold all manner of magical treats, pears that made you fall in love, cakes frosted with good luck, even a rare fruit shaped like a sleeping baby that would let you live for 1,003 years if you ate it in a single bite. The people lived blessed lives. Wise old sages traveled down from the mountains to share their wisdom, heal the sick, and grant wishes. But most people in Chattanooga had all they could wish for at first. The city prospered and grew. The houses stacked on top of each other higher and higher. The canals became crowded. Unfortunately, magic doesn't like a crowd. As Chattanooga swelled, the wonders thinned away. The shy giants wandered the The shy giants wandered north and never returned. The singing fish were needed for rich men's dinners. Bakers began frosting their cakes with plain sugar. It was cheaper than luck and just as sparkly. And the wise sages stayed on their mountain tops. At the first people at, at first the people of Chatana didn't mind. They were successful and too busy to care about those old-fashioned things. The city spread wider. Buildings rose higher. There was more of everything, but it still wasn't enough. Greed made people careless, and that was a mistake. No one knows how the great fire started. In one rainless night, the city of wonders became the city of ashes. Every building and nearly every boat burned. Chatana had always been isolated from its neighbors, but the destruction was so great that no one could have helped them anyway. The few who survived the great fire suffered miserably. The sun seared down during the day, and at night there was no shelter from the drenching rains. Disease spread. Fights broke out over what little food remained. The people missed the wonders then. They despaired, sure that the end was near for all of them. But somewhere among the ruins, there must have been one frosted cake left, because out of the forest came a man who carried magic that no one has seen in more than a century. That one man turned everything around. He brought Chatana back to life.